Sailing high and slow here.
This is Bird's Eye View, your sailing podcast. Live, Sail, Die have put together what we hope is going to be the most informative and entertaining sailing podcast you have ever heard. I'm Darcy Watergrave. I'm hosting and trying to keep these two roustabouts calmed down. Joey Allen, Barbara Kendall, two of the biggest names in New Zealand sailing. We'll be broadcasting from the Royal New Zealand Yacht Squadron's Crow's Nest, one of the iconic rooms in New Zealand sailing. Lock yourself in. This is going to be fun. Bird's Eye View is sponsored by Andu, New Zealand's home of feel-good living. With free next-day delivery and price match guarantee, feel good about your appliances and furniture with Andu. Welcome back to Bird's Eye View. I'm Darcy Watergrave, and courtesy of Live, Sail, Die, this is our sailing podcast. We've got a superstar one for you today with a wonderful bit of tin in front of our guest. I'll introduce you to our panellists, Olympian for life, Barbara Kendall. Hello there, you well?
Doing very well, actually. Probably still in a bit of a hangover after the Olympic Games with so much sport.
Or too much of the rums for you as opposed to the coffees. Class at you
Didn't
as
do
well.
either, actually, because it was like a marathon, not a sprint.
Nice. Joey Allen joins us as well, happy as a clam. Look, he's smiling. You're in a good mood, mate. How's life?
Really happy and really enjoyed the last couple of weeks. That was awesome.
It was a phenomenal couple of weeks.
Including the
with you.
surfing.
Of course you had to mention that.
I think he's really happy because he actually was. I saw him winging yesterday.
Was I standing up?
Yeah, no, you were walking along the beach, but I knew you'd been because you were in your wetsuit.
We get an Olympic Games silver medalist up here in the Crow's Nest to talk, and you guys are just gas-bagging on about something out. You're all class, aren't you, the both of you? Well, welcome to the show. Isaac McHardie, silver medalist in the skiff 49er man. Welcome in, and from all of us, huge congratulations. What a turn-up, mate. Well done, well done. Go on, wave it in front for us. For those listening, you won't be able to see this, but this is a piece of tin. I tell you, it's a great big, heavy silver medal. It's the business. That's what it's all about, isn't it? That's why you got up in the morning for the last, 8 years?
It is, yeah, thank you very much for having me on the show. I'm really looking forward to it, and amazing to be home and, celebrate this medal with New Zealand.
We talked before we set this up, and this is really interesting prospect. I want you to introduce this about the flat part that you feel when you come back from an Olympic campaign, because you've been there, done that on a number of occasions. It's something you're experiencing now. Do you want to just preface it for us?
Yeah, I think, they talk about this sort of flat place that you get to after you've done a big campaign. I'm sure you must have got it in the Whitbread or in some of the campaigns you've done. But when you put everything into something and then it's finished and you get so it's awesome when you get a result, but even when you get a result, it's sort of like, and there's no more excitement, and you sort of like, that's it, and you get this real, and I think it's nature's way of saying, okay, it's time to reset, get real, get grounded.
I disagree.
Oh,
A Whitbread
awesome.
sailor, a Whitbread sailor would just call that a hangover.
Right. Yeah, well, it is an Olympic hangover, but there was no alcohol involved. It was just because you were so busy and it's time to reset. Have you had a little bit of that, Isaac?
Absolutely, the high that you end up on, you're on cloud nine once you go through that finish line, and then when you get the medal put around your neck, it's unbelievable. And it's just a slow drop off from there. Coming home, but seeing all your friends and family, you sort of get another little wave of it, and then I assume the next sort of few weeks, months will be a matter of just managing that and enjoying the moments of it being high, but then managing the lows as well, making sure I've got a good team around me. Yeah,
and just knowing that it's normal, that you're really normal. It's a normal thing, and I think that's the biggest thing, that no one told us about that in the early days. And now it's quite a well talked about thing. It's just like anything with your mental health. It's the more you talk about it, the more it gets out and the more it's normalised, and you can move through it quicker.
You and Will, after you've won, how did you wind down? Because you would have spent a bit of time by yourself, I'd like to think anyway, a bit of time just like decompressing, I suppose.
Yeah, we had a good bit of time to sort of unwind off it. We were the first week of racing, and then the second week when the NACRAs and the kites and lasers raced, we were just there to support the team. So it was a nice sort of unwind, but we also had the New Zealand sailing team there to support us and help us through the journey. But it was a very, very exciting moment to be there and celebrating it with our team.
The initial reaction that you had once you realised it was finished, because you can't button off, can you, until it's actually done, and it's actually done. What happens there, the surge that you get? Is it even, you said unbelievable, is it imaginable? Did you even forecast that in your head, what you'd go through?
I dreamed about it. The medal race was, extremely emotional sort of race for us. We had to stay very switched on, and you get through off the start. Well, we actually had 3 of them medal races. The first 2 were abandoned, and we were in positions that was going to give us a medal.
Well, it must have been gut wrenching when they got pulled, because I mean, let's face it, the win wasn't great in Marseille, was it? It must have killed you. I don't know how you retool for that.
It was gut-wrenching, especially in our second one. We were in a gold medal position, so we just had to finish the race. But then the wind shut off, and it was the right call to abandon those races. But it was to mentally sort of switch off and then switch on again. And you've got a medal on the line. It's a hard thing to do. But just to go through that last medal race, we got a good start, got to the top mark in a position that we just needed to maintain our position. And it starts popping into your mind of, we can do this. We're almost got a medal. But you've got to keep switched on and keep racing the race, defending the boats around you. And then it was the last downwind that it was like, nah, this is going to happen. And then through the line, when it really, once we had actually finished, that's when it really hit, and it was like, dude, we just did that.
Do you reckon that's the best feeling?
It is.
So when you actually, because for me it was like that when you cross that finish line and you go, oh my God, I've done it. Yeah. And then it's just like this huge energy release. Did you find that?
Absolutely. That was the moment that will stick with me forever. It was like, as you go through the line, William turned around and we were both just like, what the hell?
Did you cry?
I didn't actually, but I was so stoked. The goosebumps that went through my body, knowing that New Zealand was behind us, watching us, to win a medal for everyone that's helped us along the way. It was just like, we actually did it, because there's been so many people that have been part of our campaign, and to make them all super proud was like so exciting.
I want to know, so how did you get into, just give us a quick, how you got into sailing, how you ended up in the 49er, just to, what junior classes you did. Just tell us your life story. And
you're going to blame the family, aren't you? You're going to blame the family. It was their fault. That's how it started.
It's quite a good yarn, actually. So originally, my mother is a sailor. She was. And then so was Granddad. Granddad taught himself how to sail on the Hamilton Lake, actually. So it was quite cool. But then I was 10 and Mum decided to get me and my brother into sailing. She was like, just go have a go. I was not keen at all. And then... So
why weren't you keen? What you didn't like about it?
I don't like new challenges. I'm quite... I in my skin don't like, new environments and whatnot. So I was like having to get up and go learn this new sport and socialise with new people. I was like, that's all super scary. But then... did learn to sail. Cole, my younger brother, was really into it. And then...
Stop belting the desk.
Sorry.
We can hear it.
Sorry, mate.
Donk.
Just getting a bit excited.
Yeah, I know. Good.
Step by step.
Flap them up in the air.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right.
So Cole was super excited and loved it. I got... I continued with my younger brother. Got bribed with lollies to actually keep going. Still wasn't enjoying it at all. And then it wasn't until I started doing a little bit of racing and won a race that I was like, hold on, this is actually pretty cool.
What were you in, an Optimist?
In an Optimist,
okay.
Yeah. So learned to sail
on the lake.
On the Hamilton Lake.
Wow.
So the little poo pond, it was an exciting time.
This is when you first ran into Will, because he used to sail Optimist as well. You sailed against him back in the day when you're super young. We're talking like 9, 10, 11 years old.
Yeah, so I met him a few years after learning to sail. And then we actually ended up in the same team, coached by Chris Steele, and he took us to 2 Opti Worlds. So we've known each other since we were young.
Were you in good hands or bad hands?
Chris, you could say it could go both ways. Chris was really good for us, because he wasn't even that much older than us. He was like a brother, and that's what we needed. We were all rat bags, so it was good to have him there to...
Another rat bag.
Yeah, another rat bag to another rat bag, So
it's full of them, isn't it? There's rat bags everywhere.
Yeah, there is.
Hey,
the sailing industry.
I'm not. I'm perfect.
Okay.
So that's where it all started, the Hamilton Lake.
And actually moving up into the skiff when you really suddenly realised this is where you wanted to be and this was going to work for the both of you as that pairing, because that dynamic between the two of you, to be extraordinarily strong, almost sixth sense to get done what you get done. When did that click into place?
I'm going to interrupt you.
You do
Just
that.
stick to your pathway, mate. This is very interesting.
Yeah.
Sorry, Daz.
After
you're
the,
all right.
after the Optimist, where did you go? Yeah. That comes after the Optimist.
I'm so
After the
keen.
enjoy-
Get me to the end, the exciting bit.
Yeah, what's the end bit?
Yeah, so I'll keep going through the classes. Then I obviously learnt to sail on the Hamilton Lake. Then moved to Tauranga, did a lot of training there. Well, not moved, I was still in Hamilton, but started travelling to Tauranga, did a lot of training there. Had the likes of Tom Saunders coaching us, and then started training in Auckland, and that's where I met William and the crew at Koa Yacht Club. Did a lot of training with them, and then we called ourselves the Shits Crew with Chris Steele. What did he call it? The Steely's High Intensity Training Squad. We called ourselves the Shits. And then so the Opti was great. That's obviously where you learn your base skills and get a lot of talent. And then jumped into the P class. Did a lot of time in the P. Won a Tanner and Tauranga Cup and a Tanner, I think, in the end. So that the P class has got to be my favourite class I've ever sailed.
Isn't it fun? Did you sail the P class, eh?
Didn't you?
I loved my P class.
Yeah.
P class days rock.
What is it about P class that does it for
If
you?
you can sell that, you can sell anything.
That's very true. They are something else.
Especially when it's windy and it pig roots.
Yeah.
You get a real feel for a boat, how to control a boat that's out of control.
Yeah.
I reckon.
And I think that was the best bit about moving out of the Optimist. The Optimist is a great boat, but there's just not a lot of control over them. The P class, you get a Vang, a Cunningham, an outhaul. You get all your controls. You can move your centerboard, and for me that was so exciting. I loved that aspect of sailing, all the moving parts. So getting into that and teaches you another whole lot of skills. And then did a little bit of styling stuff, not a whole lot. Won nationals, I think. Don't know how that went. Not the best.
Won nationals, I think.
Styling's a very transitional.
Right.
A very
It was quick.
class.
Yeah, I sort of jumped into it, did a regatta, and then I had the 29er campaign going as well at that point. So I just ended up spending all my time in the 29er.
What age?
I would have started the 29er at 16, even 15. I was still in the straight out of the Optimist. I was into it. So I was a little fella. And I started sailing with Micah Williamson, actually.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so
The
Hamilton boys.
Another Te Amutu boy.
Yeah. So Cambridge boy. Cambridge boy. So that was quite cool. Dragging him out because we were competitors.
Who steered?
I did. Yeah. So we in the P class we were biggest competition because he's from Waikato as well. So we were battling it out for the Tanner Cup spot. Yeah. Jumped in the boat with him. We did a youth worlds together in the cat. Well, we lost the selection, and the second boat would go in the catamaran. So Mike and I went to the youth worlds in the cat. Managed to win that, so that was pretty cool for the old Waikato boys.
So you won the youth worlds in the cat.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So in
Which whereabouts was that?
Cyprus.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was a really cool experience. 29er, then did another 29er campaign. Unfortunately, not with Micah. With Marcus Somerville, and I then jumped on the crew because I was, getting a bit bigger then. We did a youth worlds together. What did we get there? Third, I think. So that was good. That and then into the 49er. So then jumped in with a guy Trent Rippey.
Yeah,
you'll know Trent well.
Yep.
Trent Rippey, we did a couple of years together, and then Trent ended up sailing with Josh Prepsky. Who sailed with Marcus Hansen in Pete and Blair's days.
All those guys did really well in the 49er.
Yeah.
They were right up there.
They were, that, and that's all of that information, that legacy that they've got has all passed down. That's where we're so lucky, they've done so much hard work.
When did you meet the other two ultimate warriors in that class?
The living legends, Pete and Blair.
Yeah.
Before you carry on, people listening, if they don't know, you should know by now, Olympic silver medalist Isaac McHardie joins us. Thanks to our friends at Andu as well, otherwise we wouldn't be here. Right, I'm not going to interrupt anymore because he gets shirty and I don't need that. Right, carry on.
Pete and Blair were obviously campaigning the whole time. As soon as I got into the class, that's sort of why I ended up jumping into the 49er, was because of the excitement that they've put out on TV and all that. I saw it and absolutely loved it. So they were always in the class and role models of mine the whole way through.
Were they good in the early days of sharing all the technology, or not? Did they keep it quite close to them?
I'm not going to lie, not the best.
Yeah, nor would I. I know that when I had the young girls coming through, I let them train with me, but I didn't share all my little golden nuggets. And it wasn't until I'd actually retired that all the golden nuggets came out, and I was able to really support. So, I understand that. Yeah.
Yeah, to be honest, a very similar situation, really. Like they were I understood why, like, we didn't even get invited to trainings and whatnot. And it's just, we were so much slower than them. We were slowing them down. So I fully understood that. And, after a few years when we got fast enough, we'd get invited to trainings if it worked. And then towards the end, like when they came back for Tokyo, they were really good there at sharing information if we asked. But, it wasn't like here you go, here's everything, here's all the settings, rah. So I actually am thankful for it, because we had to develop our own knowledge of the boat and how all of the components work. So, I'm really glad we had to do that. Once we got their settings, then it was like we could tune them to our body weights and how we sail them.
How much did you pick up by default, though, being around them and what they did? They didn't share freely, but product, I suppose, of osmosis or observation, you'd learn a lot from what they put down. Did you glean a lot there?
Of course, having them on the water, you get videos, photos, all of that, and they're the best benchmark in the world, so you're learning a lot off them just watching them.
Just visually.
Exactly, visually for sure. And having them in the boat park walking around, how they hold themselves as professional athletes, you've got that benchmark there, so you learn a lot.
It's called unconscious learning.
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
There you go.
Just for those who want to know, it's called just like what we learn off our parents, just watching, observing. It's actually the strongest form of learning.
And those guys, they are very impressive athletes and humans. They're the most genuine guys, so hanging around with them.
That next tier, though, about how you hold yourself as a professional athlete, I think maybe a lot of younger athletes don't quite buy into that. How important do you think that is for your career, to actually understand that aspect of being a sports person and also being a Kiwi representative?
I think it's massive, how we as athletes hold ourselves. I don't think we actually understand how many people look up to us and want to be an athlete. So it's a very big part of what we do, and having to hold yourself. And
Joey, was that part of your DNA? How do you hold yourself, mate? How professional are you?
We didn't think about that stuff too much. No. Now, to me, that when you guys finish and you capsize, the feeling in my chest it's just, I'll never forget it. It was one of those sporting moments that just seeing two young Kiwi boys just smash it out of the park like that. It's just, mate, we're very blessed to have you, buddy. It's all good.
Oh, cheers, Joe.
It's all good.
Coming from you, mate, that means a lot.
I don't know.
Buddy, for sure.
And then you got to play it forward.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what I've learned from Pete and Blair, is paying it forward. So now there's, younger sailors that have come up to me and asked for advice, and handing that on is, for sure, especially what William and I really want to do for the 49er squad. That we've got now. We've got a really cool bunch of young guys coming through, and seeing them succeed now is like our next sort of challenge. So
yeah, and just keeping those tiny little gold nuggets, just in case you decide to go back. What's your plans? It's pretty hard to decide now. I know, because you're just sort of coming down from this, but what big picture thinking.
Exactly. Yeah, we need to sort of sit down and have a good think about it. What the challenge is, whether William and I can or want to go again, but. Yeah, so it's coming off the high. It's just you can't actually quite think of it. And I've been told by a few people just don't even worry about it for the next couple of months. Just get home, enjoy the moment, and then think about it later. But I love sailing.
Yeah, so I was just going to say, it happened to me because I'd be like, I don't want to, I'm retiring from windsurfing. That's it. Didn't want to look another board. And then 2 months later, it's like, oh, I really miss this.
Yeah.
I really just miss blasting. I miss that feeling,
Yeah.
And you know what? You're only an athlete once. You can only be an athlete at your level for a certain amount of time. So that's the one thing that I say, to never be in a hurry to retire.
There you go.
Are you interrupting? Why the 49er?
The excitement of it. I think when I saw Pete and Blair ripping around on one, that's when I like jumped in the 29er, because when you come out of the junior classes, you've got to either go the 420 or the 29er, and I saw the excitement of the 29er, and then the path race through to the 49er, which Pete and Blair were doing. And I remember vividly when we were out doing a 29er regatta, and then very rarely you'd see Pete and Blair out there, training, and you're like, wow, that is sick. So put two people out on the trapeze wire, and so yeah, thanks to those boys. Really, that's probably where the love of it came from.
Foiling?
I love
You and
foiling.
your foiling.
Well, it's just I'm interested to know. Is it have you gone wing dinging yet?
I actually haven't. Which I know.
Man, that's what you should be getting excited. You start frothing about that. Be careful though. It's addicting.
I have heard everyone is doing it. Even when we've got a team dinner or something, it's just the conversation that comes up every time is, what wing do you go at the moment? Like all this. So I do need to get myself a set and have a go at it. But yeah, like foiling is super fun. I had a moth for a while and loved that. It's just, whilst the Olympic campaigning, it was hard to find the time to do it properly. So, and it's a shame how expensive they are now to do a moth campaign. But
we've got the moth worlds coming up.
we do in Manly. So I'd love to try and do them actually, but I think I'll just run out of time now to do
Run
a
out
proper
of runway.
campaign.
Yeah, you don't want to do half pie, Once you've
Exactly.
been a silver medalist.
Exactly, and I'd have to learn to hike, so that wouldn't go down too well for my little
Right.
legs.
Yeah.
When you've come back and now you've got this decision to come up about whether you carry on or not, what is the exact... Have you talked to anyone about what you had to consider? Yes, early doors now, but you've got to look at, I suppose, the cost of it, the effort involved, the timing, what else you're going to do in between it. There's a lot of things to process, isn't there?
There is, and we've got a really cool guy involved in our campaign, Nick Gillies. He's a lawyer, and he came on board about 4 years ago, and he's really good at just helping William and I sort of break down our campaign. And so I plan to catch up with him in the next week or two and just sort of have a yarn. What's next? I'm also a builder by trade, so for the next sort of
Solid, mate.
yeah,
Solid.
I knew you. I need to have a chat to you actually, Joe. So yeah, the next couple of months will be probably get back into that a little bit, and then hopefully sort of get a little bit of a pathway with the building, hopefully like a bit of property stuff, and then hopefully can come back to the yachting and enjoy that.
Grounded. Do you feel famous? Are you getting recognised more? Are you getting approached by a lot of people asking for your time, like, bird's eye view, saying, come on up and have a chat with us, and the like? Are you feeling that energy around?
I feel privileged to be here with these people around me, that's for sure. When I wear the medal, absolutely, everyone's just like, can't get enough of you, but I'm still just, the average.
Did it get you free drinks?
A lot of free drinks.
Yeah, I remember that in Barcelona in particular. And you wore your medal to the clubs after you'd finished competing. It was just like, you never bought a thing.
Yeah.
Man, it was a winner chicken dinner.
It was quite cool. We, after the rugby, went to the Hoppers Bar in Ponsonby, and the owner was there, and she was just so amazed to have us there, and like she was congratulating us and whatnot, and the achievement that we've made, and bring it back to New Zealand. She was just like, all right, bring that thing to the bar and get what you want. So it was really cool to be there, and
Hey, did you know Craig Monk? It's a little story. He lost his bronze medal because we went nightclubbing in Barcelona afterwards, and he lost his bronze medal, and it just disappeared. He must have handed it to someone, and it never came back. So they had a vault. The IOC, he went and sort of my medal's gone. It's got stolen. And they were able to give him another one. And back then, the medals weren't customised. So on the edge of Isaac's medal, you can see that he won it in the 49er classes, and 4 of my medals were like that. But my Barcelona one, same as Craig's, could have won it in the 100-metre sprint for all anyone knew. And so he was able to get another one.
nice.
Yeah, so
It's definitely like a little bit of a like worry when you start handing it around. It's like you keep your eye on, like where's it going? So, but
I don't think they'd. You're a fast runner. I'm sure you'd be fine.
chase them down. It was a small little bar, so it was.
Does it live in the sock drawer? Where do you keep it?
I haven't found a home for it yet. We got this really cool box actually. It's opens up and it hangs in there with a little pin and stuff. So it'll live in there at some point. But for now, it's just getting.
So
handed
when
around.
you got your medal, did it come with like a little pin that looks like an Olympic torchy type thing? Silver? Was it Or was it a different? Because you usually get a pin from the IOC for each medal that you win that you can wear on your blazer, and then you get another type of pin if you were just an Olympian. So then you can get this little collection of pin like your medals that you wear on your blazer.
It's definitely got one in the box. I can't remember if it's got the torch on it or not. I think it's just the rings.
Okay, yes. Oh, okay, is it just the rings? Be interesting to see. Yeah, 'cause it has
With
little rings and it's a
2024
colour.
even potentially?
Yeah, it might do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I think we get another one from the NZIOC at we've got a ball or something.
Oh
later,
yeah,
and
yeah.
then
That's
they
your
give you-
that's your Olympic number pin with
Yeah.
your Olympic rings on it. Yeah. Sorry, we're talking Olympic.
Yeah, I'll just,
you guys
Yeah,
don't make
yeah,
yourself out.
sorry.
We can't compare things.
It's an exclusive club.
Yes, we know. Talking about that exclusivity, did you acquiesce to the tattoo rings? Have you tattooed yourself with Olympic rings and a fern or not?
Not yet. I think I might. I said to
whereabouts, mate? Where are you going to put it?
I'm thinking, I actually not 100% sure yet, but thinking on the wrist under the watch so I can hide it when I need to, but also get it out. I've still got to get myself there and actually do it.
Be
yet, but
careful.
What about you?
No,
No?
I'm a virgin.
No ink.
No ink.
There you go.
No ink.
Neither
and
do I.
and I've
so-
got 5. I've been to 5 times, so no, and an Olympian for life, apparently. So yeah, I haven't.
Just
done,
in case you missed
haven't done
it at the
any
start of
ink.
the
Yeah, I
podcast.
just
Can
I
I
just throw that in again.
can I interrupt you guys and just tell you a quick tattoo story?
Yes.
Why not?
Random.
So I have had the ink done, not for what you guys do, but
Do we want to know where it is?
it's not a pleasant place to watch or look at. But we coming around Cape Horn and our around the world race, the night before we got smashed, we got beaten up really badly. And someone on our watch said, look, if we survive tonight, we're going to the tattooist and we're going to get Cape Horn written on our ass.
So you should.
It was just like one of those
one of those moments where you're like,
and
"It's
then
got it."
30 seconds later you've forgotten about it. Anyway, we arrive in Punta del Este, and I won't go into the details of what happened, but the next morning, we're dripping with alcohol. A tattooist arrives at the door. The word had got out about this conversation, and then we're getting ink done at 6:37 in the morning by this guy from Uruguay.
Wow.
And just don't rush into those stupid decisions. Just be careful.
Be careful, you reckon.
Well, there's slight difference between Cape Horn written on your ass.
Yeah, but no.
Olympic rings on your wrist.
No, we broke it up.
Oh.
There was CA. I'd have to show you to tell me what I've got, but it's CAPEHO.
It's time for the end of the podcast.
and RN.
Have you all got different letters?
Yeah, so
And
at
when you're
my
all together,
wedding,
that's
we showed it. It's the only time. It's maybe at our funerals we'll get them all out again. But yeah,
How big's the?
oh, it's mine's in old English Gothic font.
Yeah, I think you're gonna have to get this out.
Yeah, that's it.
But it was a shocker, and the odd people have seen it. Yeah, it's a good.
It's Joey's party trick. eh?
Exactly.
Get the tattoo out.
Not many people want to look at it, I can tell you.
We were talking before the podcast, Barbara, around it's a Japanese saying around setting your life up around the 4 points that you look at.
Yeah, so I was just telling Isaac, being an athlete's easy because you have one thing that you focus on. That's it. That's what your tunnel vision. So it becomes very simple. Your life is simple. You've got to be as good as you can physically, good as you can mentally, good as you can emotionally, good at nutrition, everything like that. And then you've got to get this boat going really fast. You just focus on yachting, and it's very, very simple. And you don't have to worry about outside world so much because you're in this bubble of people looking after you. Everyone's supporting you. It's all about this performance. And then you get into the real world and it's just like, and there's a principle around, it's called the Ikigai principle. It's a Japanese philosophy. And there's 4 rings around the sort of boxes that you have to tick. And the reason why we love being an athlete is because you're doing what you love. You're really good at it. You're making an impact because you're a role model and you're giving back and the impact that you've just experienced after winning a silver medal. And you get paid for it. You get paid to do something that you love. So each area is ticked and you're like, life is good. And then when you go out, you go, well, what am I good at? What am I going to do? How am I going to get paid for it? And what's the impact? So the idea is to have a look at that Ikigai map and just keep filling out there's a workshop. I do a workshop around this. That's why I know about it, because I was so bad at transitioning. That's why I did 5 Olympics. But you work your way around this model and fill in your ikigai mat, and in the middle is your purpose and your meaning. So it's very internal, because as an athlete, you are internal in the beginning, and then it becomes very external as you become famous, and there's this expectation, and so it's bringing it back into internal to actually who you are and what you want.
See, we're getting some psych
There you
issues going on here as well. Look, outside of sailing, because you're not just a sailor, there's plenty more to you, I'm sure. I've been doing a bit of snooping around.
Yeah.
Tell me about the car. Tell me about that ute that you fixed up, because this is something you do with your hands. It's just got nothing to do with sailing. Not unlike your snowboarding as well. I found a picture of you trying to pull off some kind of grab with a wee bit of air. But this Rotamax that you hooked up, tell us about that.
Yeah, so, oh gosh, how old was I then? I was probably almost before I could drive. Dad's always been into cars, so that's where I sort of grew that passion for it. It was Mad Mike, actually, the drifter.
Mad Mike
Wadette. He had a Mazda Repu, which is a Mazda ute, and they come out factory with a rotary in them. What are they, 13B or 12A or something like that. And I saw this car, he was driving around, I think it was in Japan, and I just loved it. I was like, I want one of those. Anyway, jumped on Trade Me, Mazda B16, or Mazda Repu, that you can't buy them in New Zealand. They're like super expensive. So next best thing was this Mazda B1600, which is the same body, but without the rotary. So found one of those, bought it, and then started a project with Dad and repowered it with a 12A rotary, and got it certified and did everything down to making engine mounts, welding them up, cutting the subfloor out because it was a column shift, putting the gearbox in.
That's so cool.
That's a real Kiwi boy right there.
I reckon your dad must be more proud. I reckon he'd be just as proud of that as the silver medal. If you were my son and you did stuff like that, and then you did that, my God, I'd be a proud parent.
Yeah, it was cool. And, Dad and I, got very, we're really close in that sort of way. I help him with a lot of building around the house and stuff as well. So Dad and I have a really cool relationship, and he has taught me a lot through my...
So just real difference in what you're doing. Really important for you as a human to not constantly be worried about wind shifts and everything else.
How to go fast.
Yeah.
How to go fast in a car.
Don't know which one's safer than the other, though. Hey, so did you get to any other events? So after you'd finished the sailing, I know there's always a huge pack up. You've got to load containers. You've got a certain amount of time to get out of there. Did you get up to Paris and have a look around, or not really?
We got up there for the closing ceremony. Once we finished our racing, we had the other classes starting, and a big part of our team culture has been to be there for each other and support each other through the highs and the lows. So we stayed around in Marseille just to support them. We were staying with Micah, and just, that's mental switch off after racing. It's important to have your teammates there and help you just unwind and play cards. So we stuck around in Marseille just to support them. Unfortunately, didn't get to go and watch any other major sports up in Paris, but we did get up there on the last day for the closing and got to run around the village in like 3 hours and check out.
Did you do the opening?
No,
right.
No, because we started.
Oh, that's right, you started soon. Yeah,
we started.
I think that's one of the things that I think the public need to understand is that when you are in sailing, because if you start 1 or 2 days after the opening ceremony, it's really hard to do the opening ceremony because they're exhausting. They're absolutely exhausting, and it rained in Paris. And then you come back and you're already kind of like in tunnel vision mode, and you don't want to sort of splatter that mode. And
you actually have commitments before a regatta. You've got your measurement and registration and all that. So we actually couldn't really get up there because we had to,
and then when it's finished, like you say, you support your other teammates because it's your safe zone and you're actually winding down. And so then when you finally get up there, you don't really get to meet any of the other Olympians. So when you look at this, this family of Olympians that you meet, you don't actually, as a sailor, spend much time outside your sailing Olympics than some other sports which are inside the village, inside the hub. And that was the difference between the only Olympics where sailing has been in the centre of the Olympic movement was in Barcelona, because the whole village was built in and around the Olympic Marina. So we were like, we were in the centre of the Olympic Village. It was insane. So my Olympic experience, when people ask you, what was your best one? It was Barcelona, because we were the heart of the Olympics. People would come down to our marina, the other athletes, and swim at the beach where we were launching from.
That's cool.
So whereas all the other ones, we've been in what land,
away.
Stuck away in the corner where there's water and wind and, hours flight or 6 hours train ride or whatever it may be. So your Olympic experience is quite different depending on where you are, and if we look forward to even LA, if you're looking to campaigning LA, you'd wanting to get a base right by that yacht club there and not having to commute in LA traffic an hour from the Olympic Village, because we know what LA traffic's like. So thinking ahead of what that will look like for a team when you start to do your strategy moving forward. But good thing, it's only one flight to LA instead of 2 flights to Europe.
Hey, just quickly, worst moment
Ooh, worst moment.
in the last regatta.
I'm gonna say the second medal race. Bit of a story behind it actually. So we launched expecting to be on the water for about an hour max. We roll into the medal races pretty quick normally, but then packed very lightly, a couple of water bottles, no ice, no lunch. We thought we were in and out. Ended up being on the water for 5 hours. Wow. So we ran out of water. Matt was off. Obviously there's no phones on the water as well, so Matt couldn't get hold of anyone on the beach to bring us more water. Maddie was off. Maddie's our coach, obviously, for people listening. Maddie boosted over to the laser course, asked them if they had any water. They were out. The girls ended up coming out. We got a little bit of water off them. And then after the second medal race, when it got abandoned, I was so hot, getting blurry vision. The eye was just absolutely hurting. So, yeah.
Good lesson, eh?
Hey, tell us about your coach.
Yeah, Matty, he's a top bloke, eh? He's
What's his name?
Matt Stephen. We're very lucky to have him on board. He's given us everything, all his time. He's works at Norths as well, and he's pretty much just put that job on pause while he coached us for the last 3-4 years. So really lucky to have him.
What's his unique speciality?
I'm going to say the mental side.
Okay.
He helped us a lot. We worked very closely with Kerry Evans, who's a forensic psychiatrist, works a lot with the All Blacks, Mercedes F1 team. He's the best of the best.
What sort of yachting's he done, mate?
Nothing. He doesn't know the boat at all. So he's just full mental coach, which was quite nice. He'd be asking so many questions about what's actually happening on the boat, so which was good because it broke our conversation down so much.
I love that because.
But tell us a little bit about his background. I'm trying to get you to.
Who's this, Maddie?
Maddie.
Yeah.
Tell us what he's sort of done.
So, are you talking Maddie? What's his?
Maddie Stephen.
Yeah, Maddie Stephen. His background's he's a yachty, of course, 18-foot skiff guru, winner of the JJs three times. So he's you can't get better really in the old 18-foot skiff, So he's an absolute legend. Comes from Wellington. Good, genuine lad.
And calm, right?
Very calm.
Calm, clear head guy.
So for William and I, it was crucial. We sort of, would finish a bad race or whatnot, and we'd be blown up. William and I are very bickery at each other. We love to, people refer us as an old married couple.
Yes.
So he was always super good, super clear. It's been all right, boys, this isn't going anywhere. Let's reset. What's the next step?
How did you find him?
He did a little bit of stuff with Josh and Andy in the Finn before us, and then also with Alex and Molly in Tokyo, I think. So he had done a couple of little regattas, and then Ian Stewart, our high performance manager at Yachting New Zealand, said, "Look, let's have a go with Matt. He's free. He's ready to go." And we at that point looking for a full-time coach just for William and I. So and he fit well. So that's where it all started.
Awesome.
You've got a career now you've got to do. You carry on Olympics maybe, or maybe you look to do this. Where do you go next as far as creating cash for yourself? Because that's the important thing. You need a job, right?
Yeah, of course. Look, the America's Cup has been a dream of mine forever, as well as the Olympics. So that sort of would be the next challenge. And hopefully, I'm sure Joey would say it's a bit of an old man's club, though, isn't it? You got to get invited to something like that. So
Yeah, and it's getting harder, I think. I think it's definitely getting harder, but hey, you've got the skills.
He's got a good resume.
Yeah.
It's got there's not very many people that have got like silverware like that, So yeah, you got the resume.
Yeah, so that's definitely the goal, is to get into that one, one day, in the sail GP as well. Those are sort of the leading.
And now you've met Joey, he could do some shoulder tapping.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, they all listen to me.
Would you go any bigger? Would you go to 18-foot skiff?
Oh, would I? It's almost a bit big of a challenge for me, No, absolutely. We actually had a good yarn with Will and Maddie after the games. It was like, what's next? Let's jump in an 18-footer and try and win the JJs again with the legend himself, Maddie. And then it was a couple of weeks after that. Oh, actually, this conversation might have happened a little bit before the games, but it was not long ago that Maddie goes, "Oh yeah, about that. I can't do it with you guys anymore. I'm doing it with my old crew again." Well, I was just like, "Come on, mate! Like that is just where's the loyalty with the team?" So I'm going to have to potentially try and put a team together and see if we can take down the living legends, Maddie and his crew.
Well, we'll follow you around like a bad smell. Thanks so much, Isaac McHardie, for coming up, part of the Kiwi Mac team, silver medal winner at the Olympic Games, something you'll absolutely cherish and treasure for the rest of your life. You know this, Barbara Kendall, for sharing some of your tales with us, for talking about race cars with you as well. I couldn't help myself to get the petrol in there now, could I? You've been tremendous. What a great example and what a wonderful representative of New Zealand. And we'd like to thank Andu for all of their help as well in putting this podcast together, because without them we can't do a great deal and we can't lure people like you in. You got any final words for us out there?
Oh, just thank you very much for having me in here today, and it's been an absolute pleasure to share this medal with you guys.
Right, Joey and I are going to go and do something else. These two are going to go and talk about being Olympic medal winners and make us feel jealous about it. But again, Andu, thanks so much. And thanks to everyone involved. This has been another podcast from Live, Sail, Die. As Bird's Eye View up in the crow's nest, I'm Darcy Watergrave, courtesy Barbara Kendall and Joey Allen, wishing you a wonderful rest of the day, the evening, the morning, whenever you have to be listening or watching this. You look after yourself.
Good job.
Nice one, guys.
Yeah.